The Johnson family lived in a cozy suburban home surrounded by a beautiful garden. Their peaceful life took a terrifying turn one spring morning when bright yellow flowers began to bloom in their backyard. At first, they seemed harmless, their vibrant petals swaying gently in the breeze. But soon, they revealed their deadly secret. As the days passed, the flowers grew larger and more menacing. Their sweet scent filled the air, intoxicating and sickening at the same time. They soon realized that anyone who came too close to the flowers would fall victim to their toxic fumes. Trapped in their home, the family watched in horror as the flowers began to move, their vines slithering across the ground like serpents in search of prey. Each night brought new terrors as the flowers crept closer to the house, their sinister presence looming just beyond the windows. One night, as they huddled together in fear, they heard a scratching sound at the front door. With bated breath, they crept towards the door, their hearts pounding in their chests. Jeff, the dad, cautiously opened the door. They were greeted by the sight of a single yellow flower, its petals dripping with venomous dew. With a sudden lurch, the flower lunged forward, its vines wrapping around the legs of Savannah, dragging her into the darkness outside. Tabitha, her mother, was quickly blocked by a wall of flowers. They soon discovered that the flowers had infiltrated the house itself, their vines slithering through cracks in the walls and floorboards. As they fled from room to room, they were confronted by the sight of the flowers emerging from every corner, their petals unfurling in a grotesque mockery of beauty. Jeff stumbled upon a hidden chamber beneath the house, a dark, dank space filled with the twisted remains of the previous owner, Mr. Peters. He had fallen victim to the flowers' deadly embrace, his body entwined in their suffocating vines. A journal was close by. They recoiled in horror as they read. Mr. Peters had been a recluse, shunned by the townsfolk for his eccentric behavior. Desperate for companionship, he turned to the dark arts in search of a solution. In his twisted mind, the yellow flowers were a means of creating life, a grotesque experiment born out of loneliness and desperation. He believed that by imbuing the flowers with his own essence, he could bring them to life and make them his loyal companions. Little did he know the horrifying consequences of his actions, as the flowers became sentient beings driven by a primal hunger for destruction. As they finished reading, they were ambushed by a swarm of flowers, their vines wrapping around their limbs and dragging them deeper into the darkness. But just as all hope seemed lost, a glimmer of hope appeared. Tabitha discovered that the flowers had a weakness, a vulnerability to fire. Armed with makeshift torches, they launched a desperate assault on the garden, determined to rid themselves of the deadly threat once and for all. They found Savannah outside, shocked and bruised but alive. As flames licked the sky and smoke filled the air, the Johnsons fought for their lives, their screams drowned out by the crackling of flames and the roar of the inferno. In a sickening revelation, the Johnsons realized that the flowers had been planted intentionally, their deadly presence a twisted experiment gone horribly wrong. As the flames consumed their home and the flowers withered and died, they were left to ponder the true horror of their ordeal. For in the end, it was not the flowers themselves that had trapped them, but the darkness that lurked within the human heart. A darkness that could turn even the most innocent of blooms into instruments of terror and death.